And the next very important topic as well as a very important big question is sources of long-term finance. Very important topic, sources of long-term finance. So the finance can be generated by any company with two types. The source, that means the fund, can be generated by any company by two sources. One is a long-term source of finance and another one is short-term sources of finance. Sources means what are all the different ways a company can generate the fund, that is meant by source. What are all the different ways a company can generate or mobilize the fund? So with the help of two sources a company can generate or mobilize the fund. One is long-term sources of finance and another one is short-term sources of finance. In first we will discuss about the long-term sources of finance. So in later point of view, in later video lectures, in future video lectures, we can discuss about the short-term sources of finance, right? So what is mean by long-term source of finance? So long-term source of finance is the basic financial structure of any company. This is very important. So long-term finance is the base for financial structure of any company. So when it is known as the long-term finance means a financial need of more than 5 years, then all that financial needs are coming under the long-term finance. A financial need of more than 5 years are coming under the long-term finance. So what are all the financial need a company can need for more than 5 years? So what are all the financial requirements a company need for more than 5 years? First one is for production facilities. Funds required to create a production facilities coming under the long-term finance. So production facilities means such as purchase of fixed assets, purchase of any plant, purchase of machinery, purchase of land and building. So these are all the things coming under the production facilities long-term finance. And another one is for modernization of the company, for modernization of the machinery, for improving new technology in the company. So for this point also coming under long-term finance, and as well as expansion of the company, right? So long-term finance means a financial requirement of a company almost of more than 5 years are termed as long-term finance. Financial need of more than 5 years are included in the long-term finance. So in a company, what are all the things coming under the long-term finances? Production facilities, purchase of fixed assets such as plant, machinery, land and building, modernization and expansion of the company. So what are all the long-term mobilization of long-term finance? So what are all the different elements involved in mobilizing a long-term finance, right? So totally we have majorly 8 elements in the long-term sources of finance. First one is equity share, preference share, debenture, term loans, hire purchase, leasing finance, venture capital financing, and last one is private equity. So with the help of these 8 elements a company can mobilize the fund through long-term finance. So these are all the different methods of mobilizing the long-term sources of fund. Totally we have 8 elements.